Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from around the world. Welcome back to the Paris Air Show here in Le Bourget. Here's something you don't expect. I have AC/DC playing in the background behind me. We have warplanes above, doing part of the air display. Amazing stuff. We'll have very soon the A380 taking part in the display for the first time this week, and of course we'll have the A330 with one of our favorite test pilots, Frank Chapman. Just so you know, today is the beginning of open days, public days. They're all here to see our aircraft and of course the fighter planes above. Earlier, the French Prime Minister was here as well, came for a visit to Airbus, and he came here. Of course, the French President was here not long ago on Monday. Just in case you missed yesterday, you couldn't possibly have missed it, but if you did and you couldn't be there, you're lucky. We have the highlights on what happened yesterday, another very busy day. Let's listen in. So there were the highlights of what happened yesterday. And like I said, well, as you can hear, fighter planes taking part in the display. But not only, Airbus has some amazing helicopters as well on the civil side and on the defense side. And we're going to be able to show you some pictures of these helicopters that Airbus has. They're called the Cayman and the Tigre. You can see them here. And this was just a shot a little earlier on of them during the display. Pretty impressive. The Cayman and the Tigre, both with the French military. And at one point, they did a demonstration here in front of the public. As again, it's the open days, and there's about 1,000 people here right now in front of me who are watching what's taking place here. And of course, this weekend, it'll be absolutely packed. So here you have the Tigre and the Cayman. You can see the public there looking there. And it's going to be a great weekend in terms of the weather. So a lot of people will be here. As you can see from our microphone, it's a birthday for Airbus. It's 50 years old this year, and we've been holding lots of events all the time. And one special event was held a little earlier today, and we can see these amazing aerial pictures from the helicopter as Airbus took another occasion to mark its 50th birthday.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Very good. Some very happy employees, and also good for doing some sports activities as well. That's always good for them as well. So as you know, we'll have more about the 50th birthday a bit later on in the show. Amazing shots from above of marking the 50th. You know, we were here on the tarmac. It's called the static display, and of course the Airbus headquarters, the nerve center where all the negotiations are taking place with the commercial teams, the VIPs. They're getting a little bit more of a rest today because they've had a really busy few days. But one of the most popular items here at the demonstrator is the Vahana, sometimes called the flying taxi. It's one of the most popular items here. Let's have a look at what that's all about. One of the most popular demonstrators here at the air show is this. It's called Vahana. Some in the media are calling it the flying taxi. Basically, it's all electrical, vertical, takeoff and landing. And the idea is that you can go, say, from the main airport to the city center without having to take public transport. Boy, would you win time that way. But to know more about this, I've got an expert. Zach, good to see you.
Likewise. Take a look at this.
Wow. Go on then. There's so much interest in this. What's it all about?
So Vahana has been a flight demonstrator run out of Airbus's Innovation Center in Silicon Valley called AQ by Airbus. Now today it's part of a bigger picture. It's part of Airbus Urban Mobility. We've done 81 flights on this particular aircraft. It's designed to be an air taxi, move people from downtown to the airports, and it's all electric, and we're targeting it for it to be cost comparable to other modes of ground transportation like taxis.
Okay, tell me the truth. Will this become a reality one day?
I think the reality is much closer than you think. It's not only one day. I think we're looking at over the next few years, we're going to see a lot more of these kinds of vehicles in the air, and vehicles just like Vahana will be flying within the next decade.
We're talking about urban air mobility. You obviously have to worry about buildings, passengers. Are they willing to get into vehicles like this? Have you got all that worked out?
This is part of what Airbus Urban Mobility is about. We're looking at the entire value chain. We're looking at what does it mean for us to build a safe, viable aircraft for passengers. We're looking at air traffic management so we can safely integrate into the airspace. We're also looking at the ground infrastructure, really looking at all the different pieces and how they come together to build a fantastic product.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Zach.
Appreciate it.
Now, one of the most important parts of Vahana is what's called the Wayfinder. It's kind of the eyes of the aircraft, just here. For more on this, here's the expert. Good to see you, Arnie.
Hey, hi.
Why is the Wayfinder so relevant, apart from being the eyes on this particular demonstrator?
The Wayfinder project is centered around development of autonomy solution to enable the self-pilot operation of aircraft for a range of aircraft, starting from small urban air mobility vehicles to large commercial aircraft. What do we mean with autonomy? Autonomy, we refer to the operation of an aircraft without the intervention of a pilot, so the aircraft has to be able to do everything on itself what usually a pilot would do. So why is autonomy relevant and interesting for us as Airbus? We target a couple of topics, most importantly the shortage of pilots. So we expect the passenger volume to double in the next 25 years. That would require a number of pilots around 600,000. Currently, the number of pilots ever educated in or trained in the aerospace industry was 200,000. So we simply do not have the number of pilots to support that amount of growth. And that's why we look for commercial aircrafts for what's called a single pilot operation based on autonomy, and for urban air mobility vehicles and completely self-piloted operation.
Well, thanks very much for that. So, you heard it here first. One of these will be flying to a city centre near you very soon. There you go. Sometimes it's called Vahana, sometimes called the flying taxi, and the Airbus people who are behind that here and in the United States working on that believe this will be up and running pretty soon. Think about it, it's done over 80 tests, all electrical so far. We've got some amazing pictures as well of the public who are here in huge numbers, and they'll be in even bigger numbers over the coming days because of the fascination with the world of aviation. Which brings me to the fact that Airbus is hiring. It's looking to hire an extra 5,000 people at least this year alone. To know more about this, earlier today I sat down with the head of human resources for Airbus, Thierry Baril, and he told me the kind of people they're looking to hire. And after that I have a guest who will give us even more about the kind of people that Airbus are joining and the people, the inclusive atmosphere here at Airbus. Let's listen in to the head of human resources for Airbus.
We are looking to a diverse range of skills, and not only the traditional skills in aeronautics, but also some IT skills. I'm thinking about cloud engineers, or I'm thinking about experts in robotics, data analysts and data scientists. By the way, this is what we call the emerging competencies of Airbus. 20% of our recruitments will be made this year with such competencies. We look absolutely outside the box, and I think this is extremely important to prepare our future, especially with data analytics, which is something coming for all the corporations. More and more we are data-driven. More and more we are thinking about the next products and services we'll develop with such competencies. And of course, we want to be also attractive for this population. We are looking to recruiting 6,000 people for the year, so of which 5,000 in Europe. And this is more or less what we did already in 2018, last year. If you want to apply, you just have to come on airbus.com, on our platform of recruitment. You have a lot of positions which are post. And please, just apply, just look at the different opportunities. We have plenty of opportunities. You can also meet us. We are in Le Bourget today, Airshow, and that's an opportunity of meeting the HR teams and just to understand better in details what are the different positions we are filling at the time being. The people will come to Airbus because we are a company of innovation. We are an high-tech company, a company of passion. We are building, designing, and manufacturing certainly the best products of the world. And this is something that makes the DNA of Airbus. And the people who want to be part of this adventure are just welcome. So join us.
There you go there, Thierry Baril confirming that Airbus needs thousands of employees this year alone, all over the world, and a lot in Europe. Which brings me to my next guest. Hello, Donna.
Hello, Chris.
Tell me, what's your job title?
Oh, today I'm responsible for inclusion and diversity for Airbus in France.
So tell me, what's the purpose of a diversity and inclusive officer like yourself at Airbus? Why do we need an inclusive and diversity officer like yourself? What's the purpose?
So, as Thierry said, world is changing. We need a lot of talents to come. More than 6,000 people needed to come and work on our beautiful products. That's why inclusion and diversity is so much important. We need to find all the diverse talent because talent is everywhere.
In the past, there was sometimes a feeling that there was a glass ceiling for women, or there were certain jobs that weren't for women. But you're here to tell me that's not the case anymore.
Yes, this was the past. Look at us today. 2 years ago, we had no women in the CEO board. And 2 years later now, we have Julie Ketcher, we have Grazia Vittadini, and it's just the beginning.
Tell me who these people are, for the public. Who's Julie Ketcher? Who's Grazia? Tell me what jobs they have.
Okay, so Grazia is the CTO for Airbus.
Chief Technology Officer.
Chief Technical Officer. And Julie Ketcher is the head of Customer Affairs and Communication.
And also, I guess, young women who want to go into the engineering, that's more and more happening.
Yes, that's more and more happening. If you look at the Lycée Airbus, for example, okay, several years ago and up to now, you had only less than 10% of young girls attracted and coming in the promotion. And now, for next year, it will be 2.5 more.
Okay. One thing also is that there's a certain amount of disabled people who work at Airbus who fit in very well into the system here, and there's great jobs for them. Let's look at this report, looking at a couple of examples that'll give you an idea that Airbus really is an inclusive house.
Being autistic, I perceive things differently, so I think I bring to my team a different point of view on various matters.
I think being inclusive is very important, generally speaking. We have to be inclusive in any way. When it's down to the disability part, I think it's inclusive in a powerful sense. It brings a better team spirit. People with a different ability join a team, and these people have generally compensated by some strength. So it's super great for a team in terms of creativity, team spirit, and unity. What we have to do is recruit more disabled people of different disabilities. I think we also have to pay attention of our own employees because there are disabled people who sometimes are shy, feel a kind of complex to declare their disability. And I would encourage them to voice, to speak up the fact that they have a disability, which at the end is an opportunity for them and an opportunity for the company.
Well, we just saw that report as well, and importance on basically the examples there. Donna, one last question, because the 3:30 is about to take off. Gender, sexuality is very important as well, right? Tell me about that.
Yes, you know that we are diverse in many ways, and regarding our origins, our age, the gender, and sexual orientations.
It's an open house. It's an open house, really.
So people from LGBT communities are part of Airbus, and they deserve the same respect than the other employees. And you know that by building a more inclusive environment will help Airbus to get more motivated people, and welcoming all the talents is really the key for Airbus to become more performant.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, talk to you soon. Thank you. Can I now bring in our next guest? You can see the 313 Neo is taking off now. Of course, one of the co-pilots there, Frank Chapman, who was on the show yesterday, answering all your questions. And I'm delighted to have one of his colleagues, Gabrielle, co-pilot as well. You fly with Frank Chapman as well sometimes?
Yes, as well. Sometimes I work with.
And in fact, in theory, this is your day off, right? Because you've been flying the 350 on the display.
Should be flying this airplane, but we can't. It's here.
You get a day off, but you don't really get a day off because you're told to come and see me. And
Okay.
So tell us, what's going...
pleasure,
Tell me about this plane, the 330.
Well, 330 just is a new model, the 330 Neo 900. It's powered by two Rolls-Royce engines. It has almost 7,000 to 8,000 miles range, and basically almost 300 passengers inside it. Could be. Now they are flying Frank Chapman, who was here yesterday, with Tony Flynn, and they have another two engineers flying also. And well, as you see now, we are climbing and turning to the left. Basically, the show is some 360 turns. Normally, we maintain a COM3 configuration to keep the lowest speed, between 160 knots, 200 knots maximum, just to keep the airplane close to the public and maintain this area so people can see the airplane.
And with the 350, we can see a slow motion now as it took off there, a bit like a football game. You see the slow motion of the
nice
scores.
Rotation.
A good takeoff?
Very nice, very nice. Frank Chapman is very good pilot, as you know.
A lot of people who are watching would like to know the background of our pilots. How did you become a pilot?
Well, my father was in the military. I'm from Spain. I was in the Air Force. So my background was fighters. I was flying the F-18 mainly. Then a couple of years an instructor in the F-5 in the Spanish fighter pilot school. Then I had the opportunity to go to the United States, to the US Navy, to do my test pilot course there. And coming back to Spain from the flight test center in 8 years there, testing an F-18 and Eurofighter. And then I had the great opportunity of being contracted here in Toulouse, testing and flying these Airbus family airplanes.
This is not your first air show, though, is it? You've been with Airbus for 2 years?
Indeed, this is my first air show.
This is
here.
your first?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, first time I'm here in Le Bourget. I always heard about Le Bourget and Farnborough and all these great air shows. But this is my first one, so I had the opportunity to come here with Toulouse and with.
And it's the public days, so you're going to have thousands of people here tomorrow watching what you're doing. So, tell us what you'll be doing tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow hopefully we will perform a demo flight in the 350-1000 in this airplane. I will be flying with the Hugo Bande Station, and the idea is to show the airplane to the general public. We've been flying the demo the whole week before, but hopefully we will fly together tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, just to show this new 350-1000 also, which is a nice machine.
And this is the one you've been flying, of course.
Exactly this one, yeah. Today it's here, kind of a static show to be seen to everybody surrounding us. And then tomorrow it will be pushed to the edge of the runway to perform the show.
And what you do as well is when you're not flying, you're talking to customers, you're talking to other crews from other airlines, aren't you?
Well, normally we have the base in Toulouse, and we are involved in a 50%, we say, production flights, which means we fly the airplane as soon as it's finished from the final assembly line. We are the first pilots, let's say, to put the airplane on the air, to see that everything is okay. And then, if everything goes well, as normally, we go with the customer, we do a flight with him, and if he's happy, he takes the airplane. No? And the other 50% are development flights, certification, testing new system, new engines, and then also a lot of briefings with engineers and simulation, a lot of simulators also. So
it's an enjoyable plane to fly, right? The 350.
Very nice, yeah.
Because it's big, though. Frank was saying that in Le Bourget you have a narrow space because between
That's true.
you have to
That's-
fly in, right?
That's true. We are very close to Charles de Gaulle, and we have a very constrained area, and that's why basically we fly very slow, COM3, not very high also, to be able to maintain the area and to be shown by everybody, to be seen by everybody.
There we go. Some great pictures of the 330 Neo
It's
there.
very nice. It's like a seagull.
And just in case anyone has been like in a cave for a few years and weren't aware, remind us what Neo means.
What NEO means?
Neo means, yeah.
Well, NEO is the name they gave for the new engines, the new Airbus 320, 330. So it's basically the new engines with it fitted in the airplane, which gives more thrust and less consumption. It's the new generation engine, so it's called NEO. That's basically the name we were using for that.
And the landing gear is out there, so it's going to do a last turn.
He's going to go for landing now. Gear is down. He's turning left for a base. It depends how's the wind. I don't know now, but if everything goes as usual, it should be landing in runway 03. Otherwise, if it's too strong, he will perform a go around and land in runway 25. That's the idea. It's coming down to land. Normally the show it takes about 7 to 8 minutes. And the 380 it's lining up now. As soon as the 330 vacates the runway, will vacate the runway, the 380 will line up for the takeoff.
And you've flown the 380 as well?
Yeah, only a few times.
And?
Very nice. It's a great airplane, but handling qualities are great. You can fly like a small jet.
Well, I'm glad you said the right thing, because right next to you is Catherine, who's head of, who has a senior role in marketing this aircraft. So she wanted to hear you say the right things there. So
Okay.
She helps push the 380. Hello, Catherine.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice
Good
to meet
afternoon.
you. Good to have you here. So as you can see, the 380 is getting ready. It's run by High Fly, right?
Yes, we are very proud today to have the iFly A380 presented. And it shows that there is a whole new world of opportunities for the A380 on the second-hand market, as they have successfully demonstrated. The A380 today, maybe I can give you a few words about that. We have delivered 235 aircraft to 15 different airlines. Today, the A380, it's about 325 flights every day. And
I think that's every 2 minutes one lands or takes off somewhere.
exactly, and since the entry into service, over 250 million passengers have flown the A380. Passengers love it. And we are very confident that, of course, the A380 will continue to fly. And especially today, a lot of the A380 flights are flown in the Asia-Pacific region. More than half of the flights today are either to or from or within the Asian region.
Gabriel, our test pilot, it's about to take off now, the 380. You've flown it
Yes.
several times. Where have you flown it to?
Well, we've done some check flights in Toulouse and some development flights also with our prototype. We use it as a test bed also for the engine of, for example, the 350-1000. We use the 380 at the very beginning.
And how many crew?
Some Riete takeoffs also for some new models.
How many crew will be on this?
Now this airplane is being flown by 3 people: Christophe Kael, Olivier Phalippou, and Gérard Desbois, because it's a demo flight. The nice thing, you can see.
Let's listen in.
It's amazing how this big machine is taking off at pitching up to 30 degrees and now turning right till 60 degrees right turn. That's 4 engines, 74,000 pounds each one. And
how fast is it going on a flight like this?
Maximum speed of this airplane is 0.88 Mach number, which is quite high. But normally it's
today.
up on it.
Today will be going.
Oh, today it's now taking off about 150 knots, and it will maintain again between 160, 200 knots maximum. So to maintain low speed and be close to the area.
Well, as you can see it here, Catherine, I mean, it's a beautiful bird, isn't it?
Yes, and this aircraft has a special livery. the owner of that company, is very active in letting people on environmental challenges. And this one is sporting the color of one UN nation program, Save the Coral Reef. So on one side of the aircraft, you can see what would happen if nothing is done. And on the other side is a bright side. If we manage to keep the environmental challenges, and if we can especially manage the temperature, the climate change and the temperature increase.
Which is such a big thread throughout this week about how to make our planes more environmentally sustainable, and the whole industry about how to make cleaner, greener, I think the whole industry is kind of trying to find ways to get there, right?
Yes, I think the A380 is a very good media to support these ideas because it is the best aircraft in terms of in terms of fuel efficiency, especially with the right identification. It is the quietest aircraft in the air, and it has been recognized for that.
Give me a couple of really important routes where the 380s are flying right now, some really key routes.
Today, fly about 120 different routes in the world. As I was saying before, half of that is either to or from or within the Asia-Pacific region. And I think that 15% of all A380 flights are within Asia. That's really where the bulk routes are.
And this plane will be in service for a long time.
Yes, we believe that with Airbus support, the aircraft will continue flying for many decades to come. And there is really a future for second-hand market, for new entrants in this market, new business model, as iFly has successfully demonstrated.
So tell me, what's the plane doing now, Gabriel? You're the expert.
Well, it's
here.
doing a 360 turning right, and basically we will do a couple of passes, one of those at low speed, and finishing with a pitch up and push over maneuver at lower speed before turning left to base and do.
What does
nice
that
landing.
mean? Pitch up and lower. What does that mean?
Pitch up, basically the airplane is gonna put the nose up to the limit. These airplanes are fully protected for pilot safety, which means you pull the stick and it will go up to 30 degrees. That's the maximum to avoid the airplane to go out of the envelope, let's say. So once the airplane is climbing, at the very end he will do a push down. I will go down, nose down, up to 15 degrees nose down. Then it will start turning left to finish the flight. Now it's finishing the first 360 for the low speed pass. And shortly he will do this maneuver.
Go on, give us some, both of you, give me some statistics. The weight, the width, go on.
Well, the max takeoff weight of this airplane is 675 tons, which is a lot. More than 500 passengers, depending on the configuration.
You can go more to that. You can go more than 500, right, Catherine?
This one is about 500 seats. Well, exactly 471 seats on board.
Yes, the airplane. This one is now flying with 320 tons. It's not obviously it's not full charge. About 30 tons of fuel, and what else?
I think you can get it. I think for some pilgrim flights, you can actually get a lot more people in, right? For certain flights, pilgrimage flights, you get a lot more seats in if you wanted to.
Oh yes, we can go up to. Today in service, the highest configuration is 615, but we can go much higher than that. Originally, we were contemplating configuration up to 770, well, close to 800. But really the beauty of this aircraft is the revenue it can generate with the mix of cabins, something that small aircraft cannot really offer. And given the space available, basically the square meters available, the best revenue is achieved by a mix of business, premium economy, and economy. Premium economy is something we have seen really in the trend within airlines, and that's what is generating the best profit.
Go on, Gabriel. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What's your favorite aircraft to fly?
Well, I have my heart split. In terms of airplane, the 350-1000 is really nice. And I love also the flying qualities of the 380. It flies really nice. For me, it's incredible how this big thing, once you are in the cockpit, moving the stick, it's flying like a small propeller airplane. So it's very easy to fly and very nice.
As we're seeing it there.
Yeah, it's coming up for a final turn to land with its 22 tires.
22 tires?
22 tires.
How many
10 doors.
10 doors. Here you go. Here's facts. 10 doors.
It's a huge airplane.
22 tires. How many on the 350, for example?
350 depends. If you see the 1000,
yeah,
it has 6 each side in the main gear, and the 900 it's 4 each side. That's one of the rules to detect which one is one.
And there's more A380s coming off the final assembly lines, right?
Yes, we have at least 2 years more production. About 16 of aircraft still to be delivered to 2 customers, Emirates and All Nippon, who is our latest customer. They also have a very eye-catching livery with the turtles.
Oh, is that right? Turtles as well?
Yes. And each aircraft has got turtle from different color, and it is a special animal from Hawaii because they fly from Japan to Hawaii for leisure destination, and this is the ideal plane for that.
How long's that flight, do you know? Hawaii to Japan?
I have difficulty to answer this question, probably 8 something.
Okay. Well, Gabriel, you should do that route and tell us.
No.
Hawaii to Japan, you should get on that route and on the 380 and tell
Hawaii
us.
to Japan? I don't know. I don't know what. A slow trip.
There we go. So, amazing shots there of the A380. I want to thank you both very much for being with us.
Thanks
Your
to you,
insight
Chris.
was superb. All right. Thank you very much, Gabriel.
You're
I know
welcome.
people love to hear from pilots.
Thanks.
And Catherine, thank you so much as well. Here you go. We'll do this.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
All right?
you.
Okay. Thank you, both of you. So there you have the A380 there as it comes back to land. This is the one belonging to Highfly. And of course, this plane will be in service for many, many more years to come. Another plane's getting ready now for the flight display. You've been watching our live coverage here since, more than half an hour, 40 minutes or so. We hope you've enjoyed it. It's public days, as you know, and there's going to be a lot more taking place this weekend. There's going to be literally thousands of people here this weekend. The weather's going to be great. You won't get a better chance than this to see some amazing planes. As we sum up here, you can see some final shots here, as if it was a football game, of the plane making some, in slow motion, its last minutes before it began its landing. We're hoping to bring those to you very, very shortly. Some amazing shots of this Highfly A380 as it was doing that little 7-minute circle around. Here you go, here taking off and gliding around. As Gabriel, the test pilot, said, 10 doors. I think he said 22 tires. He took time off to come here. He's flying the 350 behind me. He's been doing that all week, and he'll be back in service tomorrow for the weekend. And we expect a lot of people for this air show. It's been actually, for the most part, incredible weather. We've had some amazing announcements. As you know as well, of course, the 320 family played a key role as Airbus announced the extra long-range version of the 321, which really got lots and lots of orders. We had the President of France come here on Monday, and of course the French Prime Minister was here today as well. We're coming to the end of this. Just a reminder, as you can see on my microphone, Airbus is marking its 50th birthday this year. 50th birthday that's been in. And think of how many planes it's sold. What you can do is go to our website, because there's a story, 50 stories, one for each year. Look at that, log on, you'll see some amazing facts and details. And again, 50 stories there. There's so much to see, and of course we've done so many videos over the past week. Do look at those too. So, from me, Chris Botman, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed it, and of course those will be on replay. You can catch this all again on the web again very shortly. So, here from Le Bourget on a Friday, on a beautiful sunny day, thank you very much for watching us.